welcome. It's been a while. And if you're new here, nice to meet you, though you're probably not going to see my face for much longer because I'm going to be doing a fancy voiceover today, mostly because I haven't figured out how to put two videos side by side in iMovie yet. So you read that correctly. I did indeed do a 7-day fitness challenge. An ab challenge, to be specific. And I'll talk about that more in a moment, but let's transition, shall we? So yes, I did the clickbaity thing, but this is genuinely something I wanted to do for quite a while. I wasn't just doing it for the content. And I'll explain why very shortly, but for now I wanted to explain how the whole workout plan thing worked, in case you're curious. So obviously this is a 7-day fitness challenge, but what does that even mean? Well, the idea is that you follow the same workout plan for a full week and see what changes at the end of it. It's a combination of cardio and muscle strengthening, specifically designed to target one area of your body, and in this case, the abs. As far as diet goes, the aim is to switch out highly processed carbs with whole fruits and vegetables and drink at least 64 ounces of water a day, which comes to about 2 litres. That may sound a bit intense, but you're technically meant to drink at least 1.2 litres or 40 ounces when you're not doing a lot of physical activity. So depending on how heavily you're working out, 2 litres is actually the minimum. The third and final requirement is that you get a full 8 hours of sleep every day. You take a photo on day 1 and a photo on day 7 as a before and after, and hopefully you will see some amazing results. More on that later. For me, I followed a plan provided by a woman called Cassie Ho. Cassie is a fitness instructor based in America, and she has a YouTube channel called Blogilates where she posts a variety of health and fitness videos mostly based in Pilates exercise, hence Blogilates. If you want more information about her, I've put a link to her channel and her website in the description so you can research her for yourself so that I don't spend the entire video prattling on about it. Now, to explain what you're seeing on screen here, this is the workout I was doing for the 7 days. You follow along with 2 videos, adding in the second video on day 4. The first one was about 20 minutes and the second one was about 10, so all in all, on days 4 to 7, you're really only taking about half an hour out of your day to work out, which is quite convenient for someone with a busy schedule. There are 7 moves in the first video and 3 rounds, so you ended up repeating each move 3 times in a day, and in a way it was a bit of interval training as well. You had 45 seconds on with a 15-second break between each move, and I cannot tell you how grateful I was for those breaks. But in the second video it's 5 moves, 2 rounds, 1 minute each, and a 5-second break in between. So really it was just 5 seconds of thinking, goodness gracious, I am in a lot of pain, before setting yourself up and having to move on. So what you're seeing is round 3 of each move in the first workout video on days 1 and then day 7 of the challenge. Hence the title saying day 1 and day 7. I figured this was a fun way of taking the before and after concept further, particularly with how I was executing the moves, because in Pilates and in any exercise really, there's a lot to do with your posture and your form. Like, the way you execute the moves is how you lose the fat. So if you're just flopping your weight around, it's not going to do much. You actually have to engage certain parts of your body in order to properly work them. And I'm sure that's not news to anyone. Later on, I've put round 1 and 2 of the second videos, 5 moves on day 7, because I forgot to film myself doing the second video on day 4. Oops. So why would I do this to myself? Why would I put myself through pain every single day, as you can very clearly see in the video currently playing? Well, a couple of reasons. Firstly, in case you didn't know, I am studying musical theatre at university, and obviously one of the elements of musical theatre as a career is being able to dance. And let me tell you, it has always been my weakness, dancing. I can move, but as far as following really intense choreography where you're kicking your heels above your head and you're twirling 5 times around and then coming out into an amazing split in the air, look, not my forte. So during this time at university, I have tried really hard to improve by strengthening the muscles that I need outside of the actual dance classes that I'm getting. So this ab challenge is actually really helpful because your abs are the things that hold you up in the air and keep you tall and graceful as you're jumping and doing all the crazy things that dancers have to do. Also, I was really curious to see how much of an impact 7 days could have on my physique, because I've never really been overweight or particularly chubby. I've never really had that sort of an issue with my body, but there are obviously areas I want to improve for more reasons than, being a dancer. So I was curious, what does 7 days do to you? And you'll see the results of that at the end of this video. Another thing I wanted to do was work on my water intake. I've always been really bad at my hydration, so I wanted to improve on that. And also, branching off of that, I wanted to improve my skin, because I am someone with really oily skin, and so trying to keep a skincare routine going and not having very good hydration, it's not going to work. So I hoped that in working out more, I would be drinking more water, and therefore my skin would hopefully clear up, because since puberty it's been a mess. There are times where it's clear and I've just got a couple of red spots, hello cat, and then other times it's like full pizza face. It's awful. So yes, I really want my skin routine to be more consistent through my hydration, and hopefully clear up my skin at some point. Spoiler alert, 5 months later, it's not 100% better, but we're working on it. So another reason I wanted to do this challenge was working on my ability to stick at a routine. I've always been really bad at sticking to routines in general. In terms of diet, sleeping, and water, it's just like doing the same thing over and over again on a day-to-day basis. My brain gets really bored and it can't deal with it, so it just refuses to do it, and that's how you procrastinate or fall off the rails. So I really hoped that this challenge would help me in my motivation, and I can tell you right now, it really helped, because it was half an hour and it was bite-sized. It wasn't one of those 30-day or God forbid 90-day challenges. As much as I do want to continue paying attention to my health and fitness in the future, I need to take it a step at a time and build up. So this was a really good way of doing that without it being intimidating. Now the workouts, while I say not intimidating, it was really intense. It was difficult to achieve, but I felt so accomplished at the end of the workout every day that I wanted to come back to it and do it again. It was really cool. It was a really nice feeling to have. So what did I have written down to explain? Because now I have a few minutes left of the video. We're on video 2 now. So this is round 1, I think, of the first move. And no, I'm not actually going that fast in the video. I've sped up each of the moves. So, oh yeah, in doing this workout, I was definitely not perfect, okay? So I was not doing this challenge to the fullest and best standard that I could, because I feel like for a lot of these things where you're switching out a lot of processed carbs and changing them with whole fruits and vegetables, you kind of have to have room in your life to plan for those and then execute them, and also consider what else you have going for you in your life. And you kind of have to be doing it for a little time before you actually do the challenge to really set you up for success in this. I found it really difficult to just make switches and do everything just out of the blue. So it does take some planning. Sleep wasn't really an issue. I've always tried to get, at least 8 hours of sleep each night, so that's not an issue. Water has been, like I said before, and diet was a bit difficult. But where diet is concerned, it was actually a bit interesting because as much as I was still eating processed carbs, my family's always been really good at getting the kinds of carbs that are still the least processed versions of them. So you're meant to switch out things like bread and cereals, and while I was still eating those, they were the least processed versions of those things, if that makes sense. So my diet wasn't perfect, but it was on the healthier side of the normal diet, if that makes sense. I just want to take a moment to warn you that in a minute or so, there is a bit of, how do I say it? Well, there's more clothing than I would like being shown to the camera, and I apologize in advance, but hopefully if you haven't figured it out by now, this is not a glamorous representation of working out. If anything, it's the opposite. It is the sweat, the nastiness, the I want to take a shower. Maybe even 5 showers. Apologies. There it is. Yep. That's my underwear. I apologize. Just try to look at, I don't know, my face or something. Sorry, I wasn't aware that was happening, but as I said, this is not a glamorous representation of what it is to work out. So yes, moving on. I also tried to keep my timing consistent with this. As much as my diet wasn't perfect, I tried to keep the timing of this workout the same every day. So I made sure to find a half-hour slot in my routine to prioritize this workout, and it was really helpful to do that because, like, you'd think it would be easy, but it's actually, when you're taking uni classes that are kind of scattered over the week, it's weird having to find a half hour that is not taken up. I found it easy to do this workout at around lunchtime, which may have been a stupid idea because I was doing the workout hungry, but it really helped my brain adjust to having this new part of my daily routine. So it was trying to build up a habit, but my brain didn't get bored with it because as much as I was watching the same video every single day, listening to the same words said by the same person, my brain picked up something different every single day from each video. And it became easier to predict when the 45 seconds was up because I could tell what she was going to say just before the timer hit. So that was really helpful as well for those moments when my brain was screaming at me to stop. Which brings me to another thing. One thing I kind of should have expected but really didn't was the amount of power my brain had over me in this situation. Because in case you couldn't tell, during each 45 seconds of round 3 on day 1, there were a lot of breaks. I would take a lot of 3 to 5 second breaks mid 45 seconds because, I just wanted to feel that release in my muscles before getting back into it. Whereas if I kept going for the entire 45 seconds, my body would have gotten into this place where it's like, great, we've got this going, we're gonna keep it going. And then the release would be bigger at the end of the 45 seconds, if that makes sense. I also did a lot of moderations on day 1. Another thing you may have noticed, out of self-preservation, I suppose. So that was another thing about the workout plan that I didn't do perfectly, was those moderations and taking a lot of breaks. But all in all, it was a great experience, and I'm so happy I was able to get this done. So now that we're at the very last move, I am pretty much out of things to say, other than after this I'll be showing you the before and after photo. The real reason you sat through 20 minutes of my chattering, or just skip the entire video to arrive at this point, I really have no way of knowing, but I don't blame you. Even as I'm saying this stuff, I'm thinking of 10 other ways I could have gotten my point across more effectively or at all. So this is disembodied voice Maddie signing off, handing it over to a fully embodied voice Maddie to do the big reveal. Okay, we've moved to artificial lighting because it is now evening. So without further ado, 3, 2, 1, here we are. What do you think? Not what you wanted to see today? I understand. I still don't know how I feel about putting a picture of my midriff on the internet, but we're gonna go with it. I will say, I did not get paler in 7 days. Okay, that's not what happened here. The sun was out on day 1 and it wasn't on day 7. I'm pasty, but I'm not that pasty. As you can see, it's not an overwhelming result. Nor was I expecting it to be. I did not go into this expecting to get ripped in 7 days. It's just, it wasn't gonna happen, to be completely honest with you. As I said before, this sort of intense workout requires a bit of planning and preparation in order to get really finely chiseled abs in the space of a week. You would kind of already need to see a bit of definition in that area, and also have a good routine going where diet, hydration and sleep are concerned. You kind of already have to have all of the elements working together in order to get the results you really want. I was just trying to make myself a little bit better, and in some ways it worked. I mean, on a more positive note, you can see in the after image that my belly button is a little bit more lifted and my muffin tops and love handles are a bit more stretched out, and I couldn't tell you, like in the left of the image where there's a bit of a line that looks a bit like definition. I don't know if that's just the angle of the image or if it's actually there, but that's exciting. You know, there were some changes, which is nice. But more importantly, doing this consistently for 7 days really helped with my mental state. It made a daily routine feel achievable. It made me feel stronger, like, you know, I could take on anything. I actually considered at some point doing it for another 7 days, just to see what would happen at the end, to see if I could get even more change. But I did not end up doing that. There you have it, the 7-day ab challenge. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and if you would like to see more videos from me of this kind, well then you're in luck, because, surprise, I actually didn't stop at the ab challenge. I wasn't joking when I said that this 7-day thing was really motivating for me. I actually completed not 1, not 2, not 3, but all 4 of the Blocolati 7-day fitness challenges. So I will see you next week for the arm challenge and my experience with that, as well as a little bit of a chat about my fitness journey so far and what it's been like, because it's certainly not limited to these week-long workout plans. But in the meantime, I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you again soon. Bye.